I'm here with Lee Brenner, who is the political director of Myspace, in charge of marketing for political causes and mainly campaigns. Spent a lot of time in this recent presidential election. First of all, Myspace. How big is it? Why is it important?
It's in the U.S. It's almost 80 million active users, almost 130 million around the world. It's one of the most active sites on the internet. There's more time spent of our users on Myspace than almost any other website in the world. Very active base in politics and culture and music. So it's a fantastic place to.
So it's more than a destination site.
Right. It's more than a destination site. They've got the users. They come on, they log on, they spend time there. They connect with friends. They connect with new friends. They explore new music. They look to a cause that they're interested in. They'll find a new politician that they haven't known about. Exploring
beyond their friends.
Exactly.
Which other social platforms that we won't name
right.
might be more.
Well, they're more of utility. MySpace is much more of a social portal, so it has a backbone of a social network, but it also has all the aspects of video content and music and
presidential elections. What did you do? What did you set up?
Initially, we did this. We did a town hall meetings with MTV about almost a year ago, where we did this presidential dialogues, where interactive forums where the candidates were able to take questions live from the internet as they were happening, and then get instant feedback from.
And that instant feedback wasn't always positive.
Wasn't always positive. And
they're liars. Yes.
It kept the candidates on their toes, so they had to give truthful answers and actually have a dialogue with the users, which was pretty exciting. And then.
How comfortable were the politicians with that?
Initially, they weren't, and they had to get used to it. But
who went first?
Edwards was first, and then.
And how did he react?
He reacted, and initially. He did well. We were testing it out as well, and but he did really well. And then Senator Obama signed up, did one in Iowa, and then McCain was the only other one to do one, a full hour one a year ago. And then it worked out nicely that the two candidates that ended up being the leaders of each of their parties for the campaigns, and the actual candidates were the ones that did the Myspace MTV forums. So
were they reluctant to go on it first?
They all signed up. No, the two of them actually were eager to, and I think that's what that proved to Senator McCain and Senator Obama, as well as Edwards. Right. But they were eager to do so, and I think that that showed that they were ready to appeal to a broader audience, and that's what eventually led them to their party's nominations.
Okay. And how did it work technically? You'd be sitting there, and then there'd be a LIO meter would show that.
Basically, we had a dynamic pie chart on stage that was taking feedback from questions we were asking users online that were watching it. So Senator Obama would be answering a question from an audience member or an instant message that came in about Iraq, let's say, and we were able to ask the users that were watching. Senator Obama is answering a question as we speak about Iraq. Do you think he's answering the question appropriately? And as that was coming in live instantaneously, we were able to report that information back. So we could say 60% of the audience is thinking that he's not answering the question that was actually asked. And he was just giving his canned response. So we were able to call him on it. The moderator would call him on it and say, Senator, you want to try again?
Okay.
And they took a step back and actually did it. And they realized that they had to be on their toes.
And they evolved over time, their abilities.
They evolved over the hour, and they realized that it became much more of a dialogue and a conversation with the people.
Okay, what about working with brands? Did you do anything with brands? Examples of...
Sure. Well, we worked with Chevy, for instance, and not necessarily for the political campaign, but for Chevy came in and wanted to do a green campaign last year. So we built a widget which users were able to download something onto their page, a widget on their page, and every time it was downloaded, a tree was going to be planted. Chevy was sponsoring it. So that was
a Chevy truck just honking there.
In support. It was really exciting. It was exciting because we got so many users to participate, and it was a great branding for Chevy. Plus, it was good for the environment. We built. We planted a couple 100,000 trees, and it was a good example of how brands can use the online portal space, which users get involved. A good cause is involved, and it was good for everybody.
Video contests?
Huge. We've got tons of video contests. We did one called Film Your Issue last year, where users and young filmmakers were able to create a short film about any issue that they wanted.
And this was for what client or what?
It was an organization called Film Your Issue, partnered with us. USA Today was involved. A lot of different film organizations were involved, and so they were able to upload this content. The panel of judges, which included like Walter Cronkite, were able to choose awards for these organizations, for these filmmakers, and the winners got shown at the conventions and at the Democratic and Republican conventions and at film festivals as well.
Okay, and what were the quality of the films?
They were great. I mean, some of them were really high quality, and they put some time into it. And there were teams of young people that from New Orleans. There was this great team of people that put together a film about how the recovery effort is taken too long for them, and they're from the Ninth Ward, and it was just a really moving piece that was submitted. So,
okay, you did something with NBC News you were talking about?
Yeah,
what was that?
We partnered with NBC News for the general election, so NBC News, MSNBC, MSNBC.com, we kind of integrated all of them onto and created a portal on our space, a community on Myspace, myspace.com/decision08, where we were uploading videos of NBC contests. We did a question and answer period with Chuck Todd, who is NBC's political director, so users could submit questions about their political questions, and Chuck Todd would answer it. We did a citizen journalist contest, so users could upload a kind of a mock news report, and the winners got to go to the Democratic and Republican conventions and cover them for the audience.
McDonald's?
McDonald's did a cool program, not necessarily politically focused, but they brought back their Big Mac chant. They did it on MySpace, where users and...
This is a famous song. Can you give us a rendition, please?
I unfortunately can't. I could have back like 20 years ago. I was definitely good at it.
Two double mac
cheese, lettuce, tomato. I don't remember the rest of it.
Pretty good. No, you can.
I definitely was there.
You need to hold the tune better.
That's what my acapella coach told me to. But yeah, so users were able to upload their rendition of this song and make a video of it, and the winner actually got that was the new song, and it was made into a commercial, and they were able to be the spokesperson for this famous song. Okay,
well, coming to the end here because we're running into our YouTube 10-minute limit here. What are some of the caveats or problems that you can see? I mean, you make it all sound very easy. Is it easy?
Well, you have to have knowledge of how to use the space, and there are tools online that that teach you. But MySpace provides a team of people that are there to assist both brands and campaigns. And
well, what are your top tips to make it easy to do this sort of?
You don't want to ask the users to do too much, because it'll limit the amount of entry if you're going to do a contest. Let's say you don't want to ask them to do a 10-minute highly produced video. You want them to do it, something on a camera like this, a simple, easy to use camera.
You mean a high-tech professional piece of equipment?
Right. But if you can hold it in your hand, not on your shoulder, you're fine. But that's a big tip. It's what you're using, to entice the users, and what you're asking.
Okay, well, enticing them, you give $100,000. What's the prize?
Well, it really depends on what you're asking. But I think sometimes it's just a matter of the idea of downloading a widget so a tree was going to be planted was hugely successful. That wasn't a big reward necessarily for a user, but it was hugely successful, and a lot of people downloaded it. A trip to the conventions was really exciting. We got a lot of users to use it. But if you're going to give, for a small contest, you're going to offer $100,000, people it may not make sense to do it if you're, for what you're asking the users to do.
And who should you be appealing to in these contests?
It depends on what the goal of the contest is. I mean, there's with 80 million Americans and almost 130 million people around the world. There's people of all different types, all different backgrounds, all different ages on MySpace. That 80% of our users are over 18, and so the biggest bulk are people between 25 and 45. So really depends on what your audience is that you're trying to attract.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you very much.
You got it.